Welcome to the I Love Coaching podcast, the show where we help coaches, entrepreneurs, and leaders build businesses that create massive impact. I'm Adam Roach, alongside my incredible co-host,
Jess Webber, and we're here today to bring you the best strategies, mindset shifts, and real-life success stories to help you level up in your coaching journey.
Whether you're launching your coaching business, scaling to 6 or 7 figures, or just looking for inspiration to push through, this podcast is your go-to resource.
We're bringing you expert insights, real talk, and actionable items every single episode. So if you're ready to take your coaching game to the next level,
then let's dive on in. Here's your problem. You're trying to be everything to everyone, and that's not going to have success for you. What's going to have success for you is if you're known to be one thing, Jess. It's everyone is trying to be everything to everybody and be famous, but if you can just be one thing to one person and to a group of people that know you, you might have more success. What do you think about that?
Oh, I think it's spot on, especially in this coaching space where we see so many different coaches who come into our world and they know they're meant for more. They know they're made for more. They know they want to serve more people. But yet when they try to serve everyone or create content for everyone, they flop and they struggle and they get frustrated and they leave the coaching space before they ever find success because they don't listen to us when we talk to them about being a specialist, being known for just one thing.
People want in our world today, and by the way, we're not, if this is you, we're not pointing a finger at you. We're just helping you. If you are one of those people that thinks you want more followers, right? You want more attention. You want to have an increase in your vanity metrics, your vanity numbers, right? You want to post ads to get people to come follow you. Here's the thing. You don't need millions of followers to make millions of dollars. You don't need that, right? You really just need to be known for 3 things, Jess, and we're going to give them 3 solutions on how to do this today. And what brought this up, though? What brought this topic up was a couple things. We had, Jess, we had gone down that influencer space, right? We had hired this incredible organization that taught us so many incredible things. And then we realized, though, in that space that we didn't need to have millions of viral videos. We didn't need to have viral videos to attract millions of people, because we were already attracting people that were jumping into our community, that were following our challenges, that were doing the right things. And then Dana and I went to go hang out with Rory Vaden last week. And here was my biggest aha with that. Was there's probably some of you on this call right here that does not know who Rory Vaden is. And yet Rory Vaden is so niched in his space, in his singular space, that he makes millions of dollars and y'all don't even know who he is. And that's why that's what created this podcast right here, Jess. And so I'm excited to dive into the 3 solutions that we have for people, because if that right there is resonating with you, these solutions will really help you take the next steps.
Yeah, I think this is, like I said, a great conversation for people who are struggling with like the comparison trap, and they see ads on social media, or they see, one successful coach who's got a ton of followers and things like that. And they're like, I am behind, or I am failing. I am not succeeding in some capacity. And it's because I am not at the same level that they're at.
That's right.
And so what's fascinating is the first true thing that you have to recognize is that you don't have to have mass attention. You can be laser clear on who you serve. So it is okay to be obscure as long as you are known in your niche.
We call this the Obscurity Trap, right? And it's really interesting because people want notoriety. In our world today, notoriety is like, that's the spice of life, right? People know me. People are really engaged with what I do, and I've got this many followers, and I've got this many people showing up to my events, and I've got this, and this. And it's interesting, though, because again, I'll go back to Rory Vaden. You can use Phil Jones as an example. Some of these names, y'all, you may not even know, right? You don't know, but they serve millions of people in a very small little niche space. I Love Coaching is the exact same way. We don't need millions of people in our community. We don't need them. We would like to have a certain amount of people in the community, but guess what? We're capping that, right? We cap that because we don't need everybody there, because we solve a singular problem. Right? We solve a
Well,
singular problem.
it goes back to the fact that we live in a capitalist society. Let's face it, most of the people who are listening to this probably are US or North American based. And in that space, accumulation is the desired outcome. More
Mm-hmm.
is better for
Mm-hmm.
people. And so that shows up in a financial space. I want more money, right?
Right.
But it's also, I want more recognition. I want more
Mm-hmm.
followers. I want more, 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 more. And yet we find that the most successful people that we're in different spaces with are not focused on that. They are focused on honing their craft and being known for a singular thing, to the point that, we could quote Dirty Dancing. They were baby put in the corner kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody knows it's baby.
That's right.
And everybody knows where baby is. She's in the corner
Mm-hmm.
because they're known for one thing. And so it's not about being known by everybody. You don't need to be an Oprah of the world. You can be a Rory Vaden, you can be a Phil Jones, you can be a John Maxwell. Because honestly, there's a lot of people in my world who I would have thought would have known somebody like Maxwell, who when I say something like I have the privilege and opportunity of being in a room with him, they're like, I don't know who he is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And that just, it's mind-boggling to me because I've been exposed to it. But at the same time, when you step back and look at the global, space, you're right. Not everybody knows Maxwell. Not everybody knows Rory. Not everybody knows Phil. Not everybody knows Adam or Jess.
Right.
And giving yourself permission to be obscure and being okay with not being known by everybody. But knowing that if you are known for one thing, you are doing this right, is such a mental flip. It is such a different way to operate, because it allows you to have that feeling of, I don't have to collect more. That's right. I don't have to focus on more. I don't have to, like you said, measure success through vanity metric. And giving yourself that permission is so freeing.
So freeing. So, I mean, we had that on the community call yesterday with one of the coaches saying, I know who I serve, and I know that my content out there is not serving everybody, and I don't care. And it's not that he's being flippant with his language. He knows that his content is for a specific avatar, and he's going to repel everybody else, and he's okay with that. Right?
Yeah.
And that was so powerful. Rory said when we were hanging with him was, if they can't put you in a box, they won't follow you. Right. So, and what I really heard there, what I really liked, is it really made me think about, I'll even go into my own Instagram, right? Is if they can't put you into a box, which is going to be our second point, right? A specialist versus a generalist. If they can't put you in a box, they're not going to follow you. Okay, well, let's go look at that vanity metrics and see all the followers. Why are they following you? Here's what I would say. They're following you because either they're your friends, or there's been a peripheral friendship, or someone knows you through someone else, but they're not following you for your expertise. They're not following you for something that aligns with what you do that they need. They're following you because it's the general space, because Bob Smith followed you, so I'm going to follow you too. But I don't really know anything about you. I'm probably not even going to engage with you. But boy, we got another check mark for someone else following us. And so if they don't know what you do, they're going to be confused. And we know, Jess, that confused people do what? Nothing.
They don't buy. They don't engage. They don't connect.
They don't do anything. Confused people do nothing. So the next step here in this process is going from being a generalist to a specialist. Right. And that specialist approach, let's go back and use Rory again. Rory started in the space of speaking, right? Toastmasters, right? So somewhere along this line. So this isn't 100% actual data that I know because I've read this, but I've just experienced this through him. And so some of these stories may be off. But nevertheless, Toastmasters, then to great TED Talk speaker, which exploded, to working for Penguin, I think a publishing house, to seeing how volatile that world was, to writing his own books, to then wanting to do it on his own and building this space of keynote speaking and book writing, right? And has become known as a specialist in that space that some of you may have not even heard about him, and he doesn't care. because you're not writing a book or you're not getting up on a stage and or you're not building your brand, a personal brand. Yet he can charge 6 figures an hour, Jess, to work with people because he's so specialized in his space of getting results for the clients that he works for that he can basically charge whatever he wants and they will pay him because of his proof of concept. And that's the difference between being a generalist and a specialist.
Well, and I think of it, as I've mentioned before on this, my son is a heart kiddo, or my mom's had a liver transplant. So I've spent a lot of time around doctors. I would not want a general practitioner, right? An internist or something like that to be doing my son's heart surgery or my mom's transplant. I want a transplant specialist, preferably a heart one for my son and a liver one for my mother, not even just organs, right? And I don't say that to go down a nasty path or anything, but like they make way more money because they are way more specific in what they do. My mom's liver transplant surgeon made $1,000 an hour just standing on the floor, even when he wasn't performing surgery, because her surgery cost over $1 million with all the things. And so he made a ton of money compared to the internist that sees me from the common cold, right? Yet that internist, while I love him dearly, I would never want him to touch me with surgical tools. And so it's just one of those things where it's like, the more that you can put somebody in a box and niche them down and make them specific, the more you're willing to pay, the harder you're going to work to be in proximity to them, and the more you're going to value anything that comes out of their mouth or anything that they produce. And so the same can be said for an entrepreneur or coach, is you don't want to be all things to all people. Like we said, the more you can niche down, the more that you can produce specific results for specific people in a specific space, the more you can charge, and you become the number one person in that niche, the more specialized you are. Because if I sat here and said, hey, who do you know that's like the biggest life coach or the biggest performance coach? You would list the people like performance coach. I immediately think of Tim Grover as like number one in my head. I think of Ben Newman. I think of people who have become so specialized in performance coaching that they are the top 3 to 5 of that space. And everything they do, their books, their speaking, their events, their newsletters, their communities, their coaching, all of it is around one very specific framework, one very specific thing. They solve for one specific problem. And it's such a fascinating thing when we have people come into our world and they're like, oh, well, I just left this industry, X, Y, or Z, and I'm going to coach everybody from that industry. And we're like, what? Because we know that they're not going to get results. Because we've talked about real estate in the past, a great example there is I'm going to coach all real estate agents. Oh my gosh, 1.6 million real estate agents in the US. You're not going to coach 1.6 million people the same way. So niche it down, figure out what your angle is and what your results are and how you can help people, and become specific. I know one agent in my market actually who she had a background in OT, occupational therapy. She niched her entire business down both in a real estate space and a coaching space of helping elderly people buy their last home and make it age friendly. So understanding how to deal with steps and walk-in showers and width for wheelchairs and all this stuff. So she has become so specific that everybody goes to her for downsizing. She has built a community for real estate agents and does coaching only for people who have an OT background. Like, it seems crazy, and you'd be like, oh, she's not going to make any money to do that. Her business doubled in 6 months after she niched. Like, it's a really cool thing when you can figure out your superpower and exploit it in the services of others, which is something I have heard Rory say multiple times.
It's so neat and fun to talk about. It's so rewarding to watch coaches in the community, entrepreneurs in the community really grasp this. And I can't wait for us to start to share our case studies, because I did a case study this past week with someone that very similarly to your story stepped into the coaching space and saying, I'm going to serve all, and went through the blueprint. And part of the blueprint talks about a couple things. The very first part is, what are your character shaping events in your life, right? And the character shaping events really open your eye to saying, wow, those were some really powerful events And then we narrow it down for you from a problem solution cycle macro base to a micro problem solution cycle, to where you may be in a space with real estate agents of 1.6 million, but what's going to separate you? And this coach that I did the case study with thought, wow, I'm gonna appeal to everybody. Went through the blueprint once, still thought that they were going to appeal to everybody. Went through the blueprint twice, starting to find a little small niche. Went through the blueprint a third time, she said on the case study, and was like, oh, that's why we do that, right? Because she was narrowing everything down from things that she had gone through in her life that shaped her to the person that she became, the leader that she became, the coach that she became. And she realized that there were some areas in her problem solution cycle path that she couldn't help people with because she hadn't experienced it, right? And she hadn't created a solution to. So I really, really, really love this topic and conversation from generalist to specialist, because it almost feels backwards, right?
Yeah.
It almost feels we live in a world where it is, I need to be all things to everybody. What is that saying? A master, no, a jack of all trades and a master of none, right?
Yeah. It feels
And
counterintuitive.
it
It really
really
does.
does. It really does. And it's funny is this is totally side, not even business related. I think at my house, I can fix things, right? I can fix things. I may have a hammer and a screwdriver and a flathead screwdriver. I may have just that. Don't ask me the difference between a drywall nail and a I don't know, concrete nail. I don't know the difference, but I really think that I can do this, right? And so we had a rainstorm not too long ago, and we had this little back shed, and it started to leak. And I was like, that's simple. That's just a leak up there, and I'm sure I can figure it out because I'm a master of all things, or a jack of trade, or whatever it is.
Jack of all trades.
And I went and bought some tar, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna paint this on the roof to see what happens. It
I
was
can just
so
envision
bad.
all of this.
It was so bad. And Dana was like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I didn't want to call Melvin. I just wanted to figure this out myself. She goes, you realize how much time you just wasted? I said, yeah, but that was very rewarding to see if it's going to work. Didn't even come close to working. Because why? I didn't know how to do anything, Jess. I didn't know how to do that, but I thought I did. And this is how most people act, is in the coaching space. I think I can chat. I think I can coach you, but I've never done it before, but I'm not specialized in it. And so I'm just going to try this. And the next thing you know, you lose clients.
Yeah. Well, people understand and equate, value with price. And so if you're quoting a premium price, but you're not delivering premium value because you are not a specialist in the space that they need a specialist in, it's going to feel out of alignment very quickly. And it's going to be noticeable that you're not in the right space. And it's going to hinder your ability to develop the specialist reputation. And it's going to be harder to overcome if you do people a disservice. Right. And so that's why we spend so much time in our blueprint and in our community talking about being specific, breaking things down, leveraging Rory's concept of having a one-word problem that you really solve for. Not all the things, one thing, one word. Right. Not because that word becomes the foundation for your marketing per se, but because it becomes your guiding North Star for everything that you are putting out into the world as a coach or as an entrepreneur. And so I think it's a really valuable thing to take ownership of the fact that you don't know everything. And I say that as a perfectionist who likes to know everything. We've joked about
you don't want to hire me to come fix something on your roof. Let's just put it that way, right?
Right. We've joked about me hoarding knowledge. I mean, I don't read or anything, right? But it's so funny because I will still show up and say, I don't know how to do that. I said, I can probably go find it for you, but that is not my specialty. That is not my strength zone. And being okay with not being great at everything, again, so freeing.
It is. It definitely is. Okay. So we have the Obscurity Trap. We have the specialist generalist conversation. Take them into number 3.
So our third concept here is when you provide a high quality service and that delivers a ton of value, then that creates the visibility that you're looking for.
Right, so you're not... We got value creates visibility.
Yeah. Value and service, high level both, creates your visibility that you're seeking. So it's not about buying followers or buying fame. It's truly about developing the reputation of delivering at a high level and developing the reputation of being a specialist that creates your visibility. So you earn the visibility, you earn the specialist title by showing up and taking action and serving the right people in the right space.
Yeah. And this is why our challenge is so successful, right? Because it is showing them how to develop value, right? In their specific space. And then when they have that value that they can help someone, it provides the service. And then once they have helped those people provide that service, then they get visibility because now the other people are going to tell them about them. Our challenge does exactly that. We teach them that it's a 10K coaching offer challenge that in 5 days we'll teach them how to build their offer, how to establish it as clear and specialist, and then go launch it to the world. And guess what? That's their lane, and they actually have success. So I really like this one. The value and service creates the visibility, not just some BS ad that's out there, right? Not just you've got to go out and really step into that space of providing value. And we like to call this the payoff, right? The payoff better be crystal clear when you understand your specialized space, when you understand the payoff that you can help someone achieve, and then you incorporate yourself in the coaching space to provide the service to help them go from A to Z and they actually get to Z, guess what? They're going to go tell everybody, visibility, and they come back and give referrals. You can also take that then as a case study. You can also take that as testimonials. I mean, when you step in this space the right way, that value and service to create visibility does so much for your business.
Well, and I think this goes back to the other conversations we've had in previous episodes about service breeds success. It's not success breeds service. And so, I love Rory's language about exploit your superpower in the service of others. I also love the Maxwell concept of, focus on significance or service and the success follows.
Totally.
And I think it's such an important thing. And I've told people before when I've been taking on one-on-one clients or having conversations with potential ones, I said, I don't work with anybody that doesn't have a vision of serving people that's bigger than themselves. I don't work with self-serving people because I know that I can't help them in a space of service and value if all they're focused on is themselves. And so I think it's also a really interesting thing to, if you're struggling with feeling obscure and like a failure or unsuccessful, right? You have to look at what are you focused on? How are you showing up in the world? Are you providing value and are you serving others? Or are you only focused on serving yourself? And when you can confidently say, I am serving others, and here's how I do it in a very clear, explicit, specialist way, you are going to see a shift happen.
Yeah, for sure. And this falls in line, and we've said this before on the podcast, that diluted focus, you get diluted results, right? And if we go back to the acronym of focus, follow one course until successful. And if you're not doing that, and we look at this value and service space, and you're all over the place, you're going to get diluted results. I mean, it's literally that simple. And if you're not where you want to be, it is no one else's fault but that beautiful person in the mirror that you see every single day. I mean, it's true. Let's get real here for a second and say, do you have focus, or is it diluted focus? Are you getting the results that you want, or is it no, you're not? And of these three solutions that we've provided here, are you falling into any of them in the wrong way? And the answer is probably yes. Yeah, the answer is probably yes.
And it's funny that you mentioned the whole diluted focus, diluted results, because I was teaching somebody about the challenge that we do as I Love Coaching, and they were asking how that was in alignment with our community and our blueprint. And I was like, it's literally just a small piece of it. So it becomes a stepping stone to the larger offer, the larger payoff, but it's all in alignment. Again, we as a company and an organization are focused on only one thing. helping people create this payoff of building a successful coaching business that aligns with who they are naturally.
That's right.
And the payoff does that in a small, contained, compressed time and space. The community does it at a larger scale. And then our VIP one-on-one, our intensives that we have, like the one coming up in October, all of those things do that at a much higher rate or massive scale. But everything's in alignment. We don't have 3 separate offers. We don't have 3 separate products. We have 3 price points for the same outcome.
Right.
And that is one of those things that I think, entrepreneurs get so distracted by shiny objects and multiple streams of income opportunities that we have multiple streams of income from the same opportunity. Right. And when you can, again, have one problem, one solution, one payoff, you can create multiple tiers of that, but it's still all in alignment with being one specialized human. Right. And so again, if you're somebody that's struggling with being all over the place or feeling like people don't get you, then it's probably because of the fact that you have that diluted focus. And I would challenge you to come to our challenge. No, I would challenge you though to really find the one space and focus everything there. Yeah. And if you need help with that, then that's exactly what Adam and I do.
Well, again, that is absolutely correct. ilovecoachingco.com/challenge. Go sign up for it. Because again, this is going to show you the simplicity of establishing your specialty, establishing your value, establishing how you're going to provide service to your avatar. And it might be one of my most fun things that we do outside of our community call, because it's an immersion, right? It's an immersion that they get to have with us for 5 straight days with very little time commitment from them. If they're with VIP, they get 2 hours a day with us. If they're not VIP, they get 1 hour with us a day. Though it'll show you and give you an example on how to be singular focus, specialized space, and really provide a ton of value. So, Jess, this is fun. This was a great guest, great content here. And I know it landed well with the people it was supposed to.
Yes. Well, again, we're not trying to be everything to all people. We're trying to help individuals who want to build a successful coaching business that aligns with who they are. Right. And if that's somebody that, you want to become, then I hope that you reach out to us, because that's truly our driving focus. The goal is to impact and change and serve 100 million lives. Doesn't mean we're going to have 100 million coaches, but it means that we want to create authentic spaces for people to build authentic businesses that change and serve lives.
Yep.
So
exactly. So here's the thing.
I love this conversation. I was excited for it, but I was holding out to say that because I knew you would give me heck for it.
No, you did good.
But I love these conversations.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, give them, if the challenge, Jess, is maybe too much friction for them and they're not really ready, what else can they do to engage with us and start to immerse themselves into our world?
Yeah, if you go to ilovecoachingco.com, you can, again, join our newsletter. You can read our blog. You can watch more of these episodes on YouTube or listen to them on your preferred podcast platform. And we've got all the details about all of our offers there that are, again, all in alignment because we specialize in one thing. So ilovecoachingco.com is where you can find us. And we hope that, we can provide value and service to you.
Yep. Go jump onto our newsletter, subscribe to our newsletter, and you'll see how we literally follow everything that we share on these podcasts there in our own way. And then you can duplicate that yourself too. Cool. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. See you. Bye.
Bye.